It's me.
Marquis D.
Shove it, squad. Today is just an additional jab to the jaw as I'm being forced to review two of the most notorious characters in the history of this channel. And surprisingly, the time that they almost did something good. I'm of course talking about The List, bro. This video was a Patreon request by Alexander. If you want to make the Hawk talk, sign up today. Okay, Robbie E in The List. Would it make the Hawk pissed? Robbie E was actually someone who was hired for TNA under the Hogan and Bischoff regime, so we can all blame them for this. Bischoff is actually a big fan of Robbie E. He came into TNA with a Jersey Shore gimmick in 2010 and manager Cookie as TNA tried to be mainstream. Bizarrely, he won the X Division title from Jay Lethal within his first month of the company, despite not wrestling that style. From here, the matches all became terrible, just another sign that Bischoff didn't understand. His team with Cookie didn't last that long because she was a dick. Nobody was upset when Robbie E and Cookie broke up.
I'm a stupid
I'm
maybe
sick
if
of
you
it.
weren't such
I'm
a
sick
pathetic
of it.
loser,
I'm a pathetic
maybe if you
loser.
could win a match in the past year. Peace out, douchebag!
Robbie E went looking for a new manager and quickly found the worst possible person that he could. Enter the Welsh Roider Rob Terry. Even though he didn't seem to like Robbie E, he decided to team up with him because he wasn't getting any TV time anymore. Interestingly, they acknowledge how bad Rob Terry is in the ring, with Robbie E telling him that he has 2 left feet in the ring. This wouldn't be an even alliance because the Roider would just be a bouncer. From here, they quickly disappeared from the show for a couple of months, so it seemed like a complete waste of time. They would only ever turn up on the main show when Eric Young was there. He was the TV champion. These two had a very long running feud as they both believed that they were big TV stars. The Robbie's entrance was fairly unique as Bigger Rob would pretend that he was a bouncer letting Little Rob into the VIP section. Robbie was portrayed to be an absolute goofball who didn't know how to wrestle, and Robbie T, he was a goofball who wasn't pretending at all. TNA just couldn't move away from the Jersey Shore stuff, and Eric Young decided to bring in Ronnie from the Jersey Shore. TNA were just desperate to capture Jersey Shore viewers, but at the same time Robbie E kept cutting promos saying that Jersey Shore sucks. It leads to a tag match with Ronnie and Eric Young winning. None of it was good, it was a desperate attempt to win some ratings by getting the celebrity boost. Robbie E then captured the TV title and it was poor matches after poor matches and irritating promos. Taz screaming "Oh" during the fist pump entrance was both annoying and somehow entertaining. I'm starting to get really frustrated just damn to watch this back. What a way to spend the day. I could be outside walking in the autumn woods. I could be at the gym. I could be with a damn girl. Does anyone watching care about Robbie E? Probably not, but it's the kind of fun thing I like to be able to do once in a while. Anyway, I'm ranting. As 2012 wore on, it wasn't going well for him, but he still got decent amounts of TV time. He entered the Bound for Glory series and came last out of 12 wrestlers. You'd think this meant that the company thought poorly of him, but somehow he still got some occasional wins, and some of them were big, despite essentially him being a joke. But overall, he was a jobber who won occasionally. You know it's not going well when you can't beat the ultimate scrub team of Garrett Bischoff and Wes Pisco. It was during this time that the world's most exciting feud ever started with Devon Dudley. This went on for a very long time. The Robbies started wearing matching cardigans and the bouncer / Roider would carry a clipboard called The List. Now I don't think this list was ever properly explained on TNA telly, and I know I've been dumping on everything Robbie E so far, but in yet another case of a TNA drop ball, Robbie E and Rob Terry did something that didn't actually suck, but it wasn't on the main show so nobody saw it. Several years before Chris Jericho was banging on about lists, the Robbies had their own segment called The List. It was pretty much kept as an online exclusive, so you may not know about it. Basically, the premise is that Robbie invites guests to answer 3 questions, and Robbie uses the answers to deem if they can get on his list. The questions are all designed to try and make Robbie feel good about himself, and it always backfires in hilarious ways. It sounds basic, but somehow it just works. Robbie plays the arrogant idiot who either wants or doesn't want his guest on the list in the first place, and he calls everyone a hamster too. And the Welsh Roider plays the silent bouncer who pulls annoyed faces. Perhaps everyone was just letting loose because TNA officials weren't paying much attention to the list, but stuff was said that wouldn't have always made it onto telly, and who knows how many of these segments airs. There's loads of them as far as I can tell. Most of the guests didn't even want to be on his list, so they spent the segment insulting the Robbies. It just seemed like an opportunity for wrestlers to get off whatever was on their chests. During an ODB episode, he asked her who the greatest TNA tag team were. She thought it was Taz and Mike Tenay, which caused Robbie to accuse Mike Tenay of not getting laid since the 70s. He closes his eyes and asks for a kiss. She runs off and he ends up kissing Rob Terry by mistake. On Tess Marker's episode, she insults Robbie so badly that he ducks away in tears, leaving her to fist pump on her own. One of my favourite episodes is the one with Matt Morgan. He starts off badly, saying that he doesn't even want to be on his stupid list. Robbie is scared of Matt Boring and he has his Roider ask the questions for a change. He whispers them into the Welshman's ears. He asks Morgan who was the last knockout that Robbie slept with. Morgan thought it was Eric Young. Morgan storms off the set saying he thought it was going to be a proper interview of JB. Robbie's acting abilities really shine through here. He seems to draw character out of people. Jesse Goddard is asked what reality TV show the Robbies would be able to get on. He responds with, The Biggest Loser. Probably the only funny thing Goddard did in his TNA career. Even when people seemingly get the answer right, the correct answer is changed. Todd Keneally thinks he's made the list when he says their favourite pet is a hamster. It turns out he was wrong. Maybe all of this was designed to help Rob Terry gain some much needed microphone practice. It didn't help. On the actual TNA show, tension grew between the pairing. Robbie was jealous of Bigger Rob's apparent popularity. They have him dance like a goofball and everyone enjoyed laughing at Rob Terry. The sight of this giant Roider dancing like a goofball had made him popular, sort of. Robbie didn't want him to dance though, and now they're gonna feud. A real feud for the ages. Over on Impact, Robbie pretended that he was sorry by opening the VIP entrance for the Welsh Roider, admitting that Rob Terry was the bigger bro and asking him to do a stupid comedy dance. Rob Terry starts dancing. When he turns around, Robbie smashes him over the head of a picture frame, bringing to an end a 2-year friendship. Yes, this went on for 2 years. They didn't even win the TNA tag titles. Now they must have an epic pay-per-view match at Lockdown 2013. Robbie claimed he was going to turn Rob Terry from his bro into his hoe. The match started with a forced hug, and the crowd chanted "hug it out." Terry didn't like the hug. Chants of "you can't wrestle." Comedy facial expressions. Terry beats him in a few minutes, but he doesn't dance with happiness to send the crowd home happy, which I thought was the whole point. What a 2-year build that was. Robbie was at a loss, but the list wouldn't be dead, because he chose a new co-host, or should I say, a ho-host. SoCal Val was randomly the new co-host. She was the TNA ring girl who had been largely replaced by Christy Hemme. I think she was bored. He called her Easy V, a play on the nickname of the leader of the Grey Crew. Each show starts out with Robbie singing a stupid little song saying Easy V doesn't come for free, she's a real lady.
Easy V doesn't come for free.
She's a real lady.
Oh!
The quality just doesn't drop though. There's a good episode with Magnus where he answers every question with the answer being Joseph Park. Who gets the most ring rats? Joseph Park. Who's the most up-and-coming wrestler? Joseph Park. Who's the best dressed wrestler? Joseph Park. SoCal is so impressed with Magnus that he asks if he can introduce her to Joseph Park. Eventually the list would stop though, as Robbie found a new bromance in Jesse Goddard, and that was somehow worse. Anyway, someone seriously needs to find and re-upload all these episodes. Apparently there's one with Wes Pisco, which we'd all love to see.
No idea what we're doing here. What are you guys? You guys are so weird. That little song you really made that up? Val, what are you doing? What is he doing to you? I thought you were knockout.
Robbie is one of those guys that I was quite surprised when he made it to the WWE. But then again, I think about it, and this is a guy that has been in reality TV shows and survived in the shark-infested waters of TNA for 7 years. He puts his all into his character, so really I shouldn't be too surprised. So the list was a fun little segment which could have really helped Robbie get more popular. But sadly, hardly anyone watched this show.
I mean, I'm sorry. I've never even been to this part of the arena. I've never seen this crew before. I don't even know what's going on. How did this even get sanctioned? How do you have your own show? I saw you grab this microphone from Jeremy Borhash when his back was turned. You asked me to come be on your show, and you bring me out here and you make fun of me. What is up with that? That's what I want to know. Val, I'm not upset. I'm just disappointed.
It certainly would have been more entertaining than a 20-minute Eric Bischoff promo. And if you don't agree with that, you ain't on the list, bro.
Can you believe that guy, bro? Oh! That guy will never be on the list, bro.